everybody? Welcome to Called Up the Prospects podcast. I am Chris Peters of FloHockey, joined as always by Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects. Buddy, we are live. We are in the flesh. We are at the Bold North Breakaway FanFest at the World Juniors FloHockey booth. Come on over, get lots of great stuff. Going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a great time here. But Cam, it has been the World Juniors. It's a new year. The tournament begins today. We're recording on quarterfinal game day.
Yes.
So before we get through that, let's talk a little bit about what we've seen so far. Cam, what have you seen from this tournament? It has been almost weird sometimes, good, bad, indifferent. It's been a very interesting World Juniors nonetheless.
Yeah, it's almost like we're waiting. Like you said, the tournament really starts today.
Yeah.
And we're kind of waiting for a team, a player or two to really kind of put their mark on this event. You know, in years past, we've kind of seen a single team dominate or a single team really disappoint, a single player really jump out. I don't think we've really seen that.
Right.
We've seen some good performances. We've seen some teams like obviously Sweden hasn't lost yet. Canada, you know, most of the points they could have accrued, but I don't think anybody's really lighting it up and looks like a clear favorite yet.
Right, and I think that's been the real takeaway for me too. It's there's parity. I don't think the teams that have typically feared the big teams, they're not fearing them anymore. No. They don't care as much anymore. And that to me is a huge difference in this tournament from even the last 3 years. Yeah. I think Canada losing 2 in the quarterfinals, USA kind of stumbling a little bit here. Nobody's really afraid of either of those teams, and that is shown in the results. And USA struggled with Slovakia, beat them by 1, struggled with Switzerland, beat them by 1. So there's a lot of other things that have kind of happened over the course of this event that really, you know, I guess weren't expected, but now kind of anything feels possible in a tournament that usually is kind of decided by 4 teams. I don't think that that's the case this year.
No, and I think it just speaks to the parity, right? Like
yes.
The nations are catching up to the big powers.
Yes.
You see it, right? Like Czechia is on their way to potentially medaling for a 4th straight year. You know, Finland's always involved, but like you said, the Slovaks, the Swiss are giving teams difficulty. The Latvians are a tough out, as we predicted they would be. And we'll see what they do against the Swedes later today, too. I think it's going to be a difficult out, and it's good for hockey. But I think that kind of bleeds into it, that we're not seeing these demonstrative performances by certain teams and certain players because it is a more even keel outside of a team like Denmark or Germany, which is it's going to be tough for them to compete.
Yeah, I mean, it's been essentially an 8-team tournament here, but it is truly an 8-team tournament. Latvia takes Canada to overtime. Yep. You know, there's a feel that this is, there is that possibility of a real upset in the quarterfinals. You know, we're not going to talk too much about the quarterfinals because by the time most people listen to this, it'll have happened. But we're going to talk more about individual players, individual performances, what we've liked, what we haven't, some about the draft eligibles, also revisit some of our predictions, which have aged beautifully.
Sour milk.
There's some milk. Yeah, milk, aged like milk is a great way to put it. But we will talk about that here today on the show. Before we get to that, I want to remind you that this show is brought to you by the 2026 World Juniors and Minnesota Sports and Events. Our huge thanks to them for allowing us to set up here at the Bold North Breakaway Challenge. Make sure you get your tickets. Still time to get those tickets for the semifinals and the medal games. There are tickets available. Go to worldjuniorsmn26.com. Make sure you get there. And Cam, I've been here the whole time. I know you just kind of got here. It has been, in terms of the operations and everything, it has run really well.
On this side.
On this side, and it has been really, you know, the Grand Casino Arena, formerly known as the XL Energy Center, has been awesome as a venue. The U.S. game was pretty much sold out against Sweden, so great environment there. But overall, this tournament, you know, as we mentioned, it hasn't really had that defining moment yet. We haven't seen that. You know, unfortunately, the most memorable thing is Cole Hudson getting injured.
Yeah.
We expect to have him back today. So, you know, that is it feels like a miracle considering he leaves on a backboard, but it was all precautionary. And so, but that has been the moment of the tournament. And I do wonder, with him in the line, like without him, USA has no chance. Yeah. With him, they at least have a chance.
Yeah.
And that to me has been one of the, this U.S. team has not had a great tournament overall. Struggled a little bit against Germany, struggled a little bit against Slovakia.
Yeah. Struggled greatly against the Swedes.
Yes, struggled and just had, at one point that game was 5-1 and maybe one of the worst results potentially for the U.S. They did come back a little bit, made it look a little nicer, but still, that's a clunker of a game, and that's what happens when you don't have Cole Hudson, you don't have Max Plant. Yeah. So, a lot there. Let's talk about some of the individual players that we've seen in this tournament so far, some guys that we have definitely looked to that have played well. And if you look at the stat sheet, no one is running away with the scoring title.
Nope.
No one is running. So even the players themselves have not had that defining moment. I'm going to throw a name out at you.
Okay.
You let me know, because I think there have been great moments and some not so great moments for this player, but I think the great moments have outnumbered the bad, and that's Zane Parekh.
Yeah.
Zane Parekh of Team Canada. What have you seen from him? I mean, 8 points so far, some of the best passes we've seen in this tournament. I mean, he has definitely brought it, and I think has gotten better as the tournament has progressed.
Yeah, I mean, that dish to Tej the other night, like, woo-hoo. And he was joking around afterwards saying that Tej was giving him his looks. Like,
yeah.
And he hit him from like 100 plus feet out, right? Like that. And that's what he brings, right? Yes, some of the in-zone defensive decisions can confuse, and that's just part of his game. And that's baked into a Zane Parekh. But offensively, we figured Cole Hudson might be the top offensive guy here. Zane has clearly been that guy. And I think at this point, if we had to vote on, MVP and top defenseman, he's probably in the lead right now. Arguably.
Yeah, arguably.
Arguably, just because of that point generation. But I think the main takeaway for this is that he really needed this.
Yes.
He needed, and he had a quote this morning talking about how he's already almost mourning the end of this tournament. That he's counting down the days, that he's upset. Like it's too bad it's coming to a close. Is that he's enjoyed this so much. He needed it. He needed to get out of Calgary where it was a struggle. Yeah. He wasn't getting minutes. He wasn't getting game time. He wasn't playing his game.
Yeah.
And now he gets to come here. He gets to be the guy. All the offensive situations. He's having fun with the boys. You can see it. They're gelling. I think this is great for him individually. I think it's great long-term for the Flames, and obviously it's tremendous for Canada to have a player like him.
He got the swagger back, right?
He's got the swagger
back, which I think is such a key element of his game, and it's hard to generate that at the NHL level when you are the new guy, when you are, when the game is hard, right? and Canada has not been by any means perfect, and Zane hasn't been perfect defensively. But what he's generated with the puck, the danger that he creates every shift he's out there, that to me has been really remarkable. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting as well. So I think that's really fascinating overall. Yeah. So beyond that, you look at some of the other players. It seems like I've really liked what I've seen from the Czechs. Like another defenseman I wanted to focus on, a guy that I do think is going to be the primary competition for Zane Parekh for Directorate Award is Adam Jiricek. Yeah. Adam Jiricek is leading this Czech team in a way that, he needed to. Yeah. Like he needed to, but is he gonna be the guy for them? And he has been. And Murtko was hurt for the first couple of games. Yeah. He's back, but still the minutes guy is gonna be Jiricek. He's gonna be their top power play guy. He's gonna do all those things. So Adam Jiricek to me, you think back, remember Halifax, David Jiricek was the best defenseman in that tournament. Yeah. And now we're seeing Adam repeat that kind of performance, and that's what got the Czechs to the gold medal game. Mm. Their top four defense is as good as any in this tournament. Yeah. So Adam Jiricek, to me, that's a guy that we need to keep a close eye on the rest of the tournament. If he, they have their quarterfinals against Switzerland, and the Swiss have actually played quite well in this tournament.
Tough. Yeah.
They play a very heavy style, so yeah. So I think that's really going to be interesting. But yeah, so those guys. But let's talk also about some, for Team Canada, a guy that I think has made his mark on this tournament in a way maybe even greater than we thought. I knew he would play well, but even greater than we thought. Michael Hage. Woo. Driving the line that was really the only line going for a little bit with Gavin McKenna and Brady Martin. I mean, what can you say about Michael Hage?
I mean, that's Canada's second line.
Yeah.
But, we've been talking about it in press row. That's their first line.
That's their first line.
That's their first line. Hage has been the best forward for Canada. Yeah. I think he's created the most. He's had some good finish as well, too, but he's rang a few pipes. Like he has been all over the speed, the skill. It's really shined through, and it meshes so well with Brady on the other side with a little more smash mouth, right? And then McKenna bringing a lot of skill and some perimeter work too. He's been, he's been excellent. And I think Habs fans should be very, very excited. And another one that, like, if we're talking about top forward, I think that's him at this point too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, for me, Michael Hage has been just such a driver, such a force, and I, like for Team Canada, you always have to have somebody going.
Yeah.
And finally they have it with him, and have had it all tournament really with him, and so that's big. Brady Martin's another guy that I think has made his impact felt. Good. The goal scoring is an element, the checking, all those different things. That's been pretty impressive to watch. What have you noticed from Brady? Maybe either, I don't know if there's any surprises anymore, but just in terms of what he has been able to do going with this tournament.
Yeah, I thought it was, excuse me, I've got a frog here, is that they put him in the net front on the first power play unit.
Yes.
A position that he doesn't normally play.
Right.
But he's been excellent there, right? Like he's been right down low and he times it well and he gets in that cross ice dish and he's been tapping it in.
Yeah.
He's able to score from distance too. But like I said, that kind of smash mouth, that physical style where he can separate, he can create space for those other guys.
Yeah.
He can do some of that digging hard work and get the pucks into high danger spots for the other two, which, both are great playmakers. He's more of a finisher. It's been really impressive. And I think that, like, you see him, he's so calm and confident, and he just has that swagger about him as well. And he said too, he's like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on earth right now than here playing for Team Canada. The crest on the front of the jersey there is all about it for him, rather than the name on the back. And so I've really enjoyed his game, and I think that we're going to see it take another level now that the games are getting tighter. We saw the U18s. He's done it before. He shows up in big games. I imagine that he's going to be another big game player for the Canadians here.
Yeah, and it's so funny because his swagger, he comes by it naturally. Yeah. It's not really a put-on thing.
No.
He just loves to play.
Yeah.
And I think that he loves to play the style that he does. And I love the beginning of the tournament to get to know Team Canada. Like, how do you deal with adversity on the ice? And he's like, I don't know, probably just hit a guy.
Yeah.
Which is the most Brady Martin answer. So we're going to see him continue to do that here. One guy that maybe fans didn't know a lot about, but is a draft eligible this year that I think has been one of the more impressive players in the tournament is Thomas Cherenko as well. And Cherenko is leading the tournament, or tied for the tournament leading goals. He's been outstanding overall. I think that there's a lot to like about the way he's played. He's been deadly on the power play. Yeah. Slovakia's in one today. They got Canada. They finished fourth in the group. They lose to Switzerland. Not a good, so Switzerland takes third in the group. Slovakia has to play Canada, but Cherenko is dangerous against anybody, and he has been a one-shot scorer in this tournament, which I think can take you a long way. Yeah.
No, I mean, coming into the event, I know some outlets had him as a kind of like a borderline first, maybe a late first-round pick. We were more, a B-level player in the second round. I'm not sure his performance has really changed my mind on that. Like, it's when you come up big in a big moment like that and in a big tournament like this, it definitely helps. He is still the player that we thought he was. He does have that one-shot goal-scoring ability. He is excellent on the power play. He is a little undersized, and he doesn't have great feet. He hasn't really showed that those things have changed. Obviously, he's not going to get any bigger. But I think that showing up in these big moments, and today against the Canadians, is going to tell a lot about, can he do it when things get really tight and you're matched up against these high-level players, these elite players. If he can find the back of the net today, that's going to go another long way into like boosting him up. Maybe he could be end of day one type of kid.
Absolutely. Just an incredible, and a World Junior can go a long way to at least getting, at worst, getting you extra looks.
Yeah.
Getting you extra chances because, teams are not going to make their decisions solely based on this, but it goes a long way because all the GMs are here. All the decision makers are here.
They are.
Heck, we saw Canada's roster. Like all their Team Canada Olympic brass are here. So it's just like, it's incredible to see kind of where we are and what we're doing here with these players and how they've played. So, all right, so you got those players. What do you got?
Well, I was going to say.
I want to hear it.
Okay. So you just mentioned that they're not going to make decisions based off this tournament. And I think that that's absolutely right for draft eligible players.
Right.
But I think there's one little clause there this year. And I think that Gavin McKenna's performance holds more weight than most draft-eligible kids at this event in years past, and probably what we're going to see in the future, just because of the circumstances coming in. And we talked about it at length before.
Yes.
Is that This is a really, really important tournament for him.
Yes.
And I think that he has done well. Obviously, you know, coming out of round robin play, also tied for the point lead with 8.
Yes.
I thought he's had more effort away from the puck.
Yes.
But what do you think? What do you think? I still feel like he's being kept to the perimeter a little too much.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
I mean, and he's not the driver of his line.
He's
Michael
not.
Hage is the driver of his line, and that's
third
to
guy.
me that is exactly.
He's the third guy.
and really, you know, excellent passer.
Yeah, great handles.
He has flashes of brilliance, but never. We haven't seen him have that game where it's like, yep, that was Gavin, and to me, like, you know, I feel like there's no more clarity on the number 1 overall. You know, neither Karls nor Verhoff has played every game for Canada.
Ivar hasn't taken.
They've played in lower lineup situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ivar. Yeah, exactly. No one has jumped up. I mean, Albert Smits has been very good, but still, it's like
he's not one.
Are we saying that's the? Yeah, we're not saying that's the number 1 player.
No.
So that to me is really where things get interesting, and it is tough. You know, Chase Reed has had a good tournament. But offensively.
Yeah.
But yes, exactly. Defensively he's been fine.
Yeah, there's been some hiccups
I haven't liked
there.
Team USA's D pairings overall have left a lot to be desired so far, especially when Cole Hudson was out. But there's still a lot to figure out here.
With McKenna though, it's like when Bedard was doing his thing, right? Every time he touched the puck, it was edge of your seat.
Oh.
Like he could do anything. Right?
Yes.
And he's not like a super electric skater either, but he had those bursts. He had that ability to burst through a seam, to beat a guy wide. And Gavin just doesn't have that.
No.
He doesn't have that in his bag of tricks. And so you see him when he does go for that, he doesn't have the separating speed.
Right.
And he doesn't have the size to jam his way in. And
True.
so getting kept to the outside in the NCAA and now here at the World Juniors as well, it's like, I was talking to some scouts about it too, and they're, you know, it's the concerns that the teams have as well, is that what's he going to be at the NHL level?
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to get to the interior in the NHL?
Yeah.
And that's a big question.
It's a huge question.
Right? And at a first overall pick?
Now, I go back to that under-18 Worlds where he had that tremendous.
So good.
And he got to the interior.
He did.
He drove the net. He did beat defenders wide. I don't think that we've seen him do that.
Yeah.
And that to me has been really one of the real challenges of this whole thing. Like what are they going to do? And I know you've talked to scouts, I've talked to scouts. A lot of people have said to me, this is not a good year to be picking first overall.
No. Yeah. It's not.
Because there is still going to be pressure because the fans know Gavin McKenna's name.
Yeah.
They don't know any of the other players.
Yeah.
And no one has really risen to the level of who we should know. You know, like, and that to me is a real problem for the team that does pick first, is that there will be some external pressure to take the most familiar player.
And I mean, you're almost like, it's like, what else are you going to do? Right? Because, I mean, you could go with your guys if you felt like you're like, Verhoff's our guy. We think at 25, he's going to be the best player of everybody.
Yes.
And if that's how your scouts feel, then that's where you should go.
Yes.
But like you said, is that it's not going to be a sexy pick.
No.
It's not going to sell tickets. It's not going to sell jerseys.
No.
Which is often what you get as your consolation prize of being the worst team in the league, is like, at least we have this shiny toy that everyone's going to be excited about.
So don't tank. Stop tanking.
Winnipeg, Vancouver.
Yeah.
Get out of the basement.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Stop tanking.
Yeah.
Just go. Yeah. But like, that's the thing, is like, if you're Chicago and if you're any of these teams, like, what are you going to do?
You're bringing in Cousin Gav for Bedard, right?
I guess.
That's probably the easiest one. If you're Chicago, they're probably in the best position to take a guy like McKenna, I think. Whereas like a Vancouver or a Winnipeg, or who else is near the bottom right now? Nashville, I guess. They're in a position where they need like a franchise player.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there is one this year.
No.
Probably not.
No, there isn't, and that's tough. That's a tough place to be, and it's not a place where you want to be if you are a first overall team. Like, there's the excitement that you can generate is just not as high at this point. So, all right. I wanted to talk more about the draft eligibles anyway, so this is a perfect segue. And I after this, I want to talk a little bit about some of the guys that have maybe been a little disappointing at the tournament as well, not just draft eligible, but otherwise. Now, I will say, Ivar Stenberg hasn't jumped off the page this tournament, But I still think there's a lot of things to like about
yeah.
him, and there's so much. Like, he did score a big goal against USA.
Yeah.
He does get to the interior.
Yeah.
He does make plays. He has speed. He has tenacity. But his teammate Vigo Bjork is another one I want to talk about, because to me Vigo has been awesome at this event. And one of the better draft eligibles. He is taking key faceoffs for Sweden in their zone. He is playing in key moments in the game for them at all times.
Yeah.
He is making their second power play go, and their first is unbelievable, and their second's just as good.
And he's had looks on the first as well.
He's had looks in the first, yes, exactly. So this is a guy that moves pucks, that makes plays, that does so many things at a incredible level. I do think that the size factor is diminishing because of how hard he plays and the maturity that he plays with. And the players here, the Swedish players, they marvel.
They love him.
They marvel at his maturity, and they love playing with him. And to me, all of a sudden, where does that get you in the draft, Cam? I mean, like, he's still probably not going to be in the. Do you think he'll be in the top 15?
So I wrote a really fun piece on him that came out yesterday.
Okay.
And I'd been working on it since I went to Sweden back in the fall.
Okay.
And so I spent some time with Djurgården there. I talked to Marcus Kruger, former Chicago Blackhawk, won a couple Stanley Cups, captain of Djurgården now. Same thing. All the quotes marveling at his maturity.
Yes.
As Vigo ran off the ice to head to geography class, right? In the middle of the day, he had to get back to school because he's still in high school, right? You're right, Victor Eklund, Frundell, they all, Frundell mentioned, I said, if you could take one skill from a teammate, and he's like, I would take the puck protection game from Vigo Bjork.
Yes.
This is from 6'1", 210-pound Anton Frundell.
Yes.
That he would like to protect pucks, like 5'9", 170-pound Vigo Bjork.
Yes.
Right? So he has these elements to his game. I love his mind. I love his play creation. Like that dish cross ice on the power play the other day, that was it had a quarter inch to get that through, and he found a way.
Right.
For the backdoor tap in. But he's 5'9", and he doesn't have electric feet.
No.
And talking to scouts, and I had some good quotes in there, is that they love him. Everybody loves him.
Yeah.
But it's who's he going to be? Right? So you identify Marco Rossi, Logan Stankoven, Yanni Gord are kind of like the three sub 5'10" centers in the NHL. A couple of them playing the top six. He doesn't have Stankoven's jam.
Yeah.
He doesn't have Rossi's feet.
Right.
Where is he going to be in an NHL lineup? Is he going to be able to get to pucks quickly enough? And is he going to be able to stay in the middle of the ice? And I think that's, at the end of the day, teams are going to look at it when they start, when we get into outside the top 10. It's like, well, here's Vigo, and then here's this. Here's, Ryan Lynn, or here's Daxon Rudolph, or whatever. They're gonna have more projectable, safer outcomes than this kid right here. And I do think he's gonna just kind of slip back half of the teens, early 20s potentially even.
Yeah,
he's worth the risk.
Right. Yeah, I think he's worth. That's the thing is, I think he's worth the risk too. And it's more, if in this draft class when there aren't a lot of sure things, when there aren't, you're projecting out a lot, I think that's a guy that finds a way, and you're happy that you have him. Maybe he's not your superstar player, maybe he's in the middle of your lineup more than the top of your lineup. But to me, I looking at the rest of this draft class, there's not a ton to get super excited about. And so as a result, you say, all right, well, maybe I don't love the players' measurables. Maybe I don't love, but I love his game.
Yeah.
And he plays a style that will help us. And
he produces.
Everywhere
he goes, he produces, right? Destroyed the J18, destroyed the J20, doing well in the SHL this year, doing well at the World Juniors.
Yeah.
He finds a way.
Yeah, he does. He does. All right, so I do want to talk about Chase Reed as well. We talked about the offense has been good. Yeah. Maybe the defense hasn't been as good. Also, he's been playing with Luke Osborne here, and Osborne's also more of an up-tempo offensive kind of player, less about, that.
Not a safety valve.
Not a safety valve. He doesn't have, and really USA doesn't have enough of that on their roster anyway.
Yeah.
Chase Reed has scored some big goals.
Yep.
He has played big minutes.
Yep.
When Cole Hudson was down, he goes to the number one power play unit.
Naturally, yeah.
USA without Chase Reed would have been a disaster.
Oh, man.
And which is the best thing, that's a great thing that you can say about somebody. It would have been a disaster if he, if he wasn't here, because you have no other good options. Osborne has been the guy that's actually ended up playing the most minutes outside of Hudson. But Reed, to me, the skating has looked like, actually early on he was nervous, and you could tell he looked slow, decisions were slow, didn't want to make a mistake. Bob Motzko said as the tournament has gone on, he's just built, confidence. And I think going into the medal round, this is our opportunity to see, I think, Chase Reed at the best that he's played in this tournament. And so, what have you seen from him based on your observations? And is he still one of those guys that we can talk about in that upper tier of the draft?
I think so, yeah. And I also think that, obviously Cole going down is terrible, and that was a scary situation, but it was having that opportunity to jump into that bigger role to get the top power play. I think that's really helped him. And I think now when Hudson comes back and he can fall into that secondary offensive role, that's also going to be good for him.
Yeah.
Is that, he is still a draft eligible kid.
Right.
He's a young player at this event. And so to take a little bit of that pressure off, but also still be able to move and have some of that offensive. Listen, last year when he moved over to the OHL, it was all offense.
Yeah.
Right? His defense wasn't that great. And then this year in the O, he was looking like, oh man, the defense is coming along.
Right.
And it's backslid a little bit here, but that's fine. That's okay. We're going to take the ups and downs with him. I still think, he has the size. He has electric skating. He's got the big shot. He can move the puck really well. Absolutely, I think that he's still firmly entrenched in my mind in the top 5 or 6 players in this draft. Right? I know Albert Smits is wowed a lot of teams here with his kind of calm, confident, big shot, but he has kind of that he looks like he's skating with a cigarette in his mouth, right? Nothing phases that kid at all. Hey, it reminds me of that when I think it was BX who said that about Chris Tanev years ago.
Yes.
He kind of gives me that vibe. But if I'm looking at Chase Reed and I'm looking at Albert Smits, I'm still taking Chase Reed.
I think the offensive upside is higher there, right? But the thing about Smits that I find interesting, a couple people had mentioned to me, that maturity that he plays with. So he's older. He is older.
He's an old man.
And he's an old soul too. He lived on his own since he was 13 years old.
It's incredible.
And he has been awesome. The media wise, he hates doing interviews.
Yeah.
But he's hilarious, and he doesn't realize that every time he tells us how much he doesn't like talking to us, how much we love it, and how much we ask. He's been asked for every game. He's come out every game. To me, he is really not necessarily in terms of how he plays. I don't think he has the offensive game that way, but just the approach to hockey and his life is very Moritz Seider-esque. In terms of the personality, he plays such a mature game.
He does.
There's physicality.
Yeah.
There is calmness with the puck. There is poise. There is aggression. There's just all these different things to me that have really impressed me to see it up close and personal. And now you're oh, that's why he plays 23 minutes a night in Finland.
The league, right?
Against men.
Yeah.
Mark Masters asked him, "Oh, are you excited to go up against Gavin McKenna?"
Great.
He's I've gone against bigger guys.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I played professionally in the league. What are you talking about?
I'm not worried
right?
about Gavin McKenna.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So but it's just it's incredible to see that kind of player. I think he's going to go I think he's going to crush his combine interviews.
Yeah.
Teams are going to be obsessed with him. I could very easily see him going in the first 5 picks.
Well, I think I tweeted this one out there too, is that I had a scout say, he's I'm not going to blink when he's the first defender off the board. Right. Which, that's ahead of Ehrhoff.
That's ahead of
Chase Reed, Carls, right? And another guy that, I also had teams mention that who's going to absolutely kill at his interviews is Verhoff. He is a sweetheart, and you can't walk out of a room with that kid.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how fast he endeared himself to his teammates as a young guy at North Dakota, and I've heard nothing but good things about his approach and everything else.
Yeah, and you see, so he had that egregious giveaway the other night on New Year's Eve. It was ugly, ended up in the back of the net. Yep, and I was and Wheeler and I looked at each other and we're is that the last time we see Verhoff? And then, nope, Dale Hunter, he rolled him out for several shifts after that, and every single time that he came off the ice, the boys were ready, lined up to fist bump him, tap the helmet, they were really boosting him up, and you can see that, that's a team chemistry thing, but that's also bringing the youngest player up on the team, hey, we got you, it's all good, good shift,
Yeah.
So that was good to see.
Let's talk quick about Verhoff and Carls as well, because one of the things that I take away from that whole tournament, or the Canada's tournament so far, is part of the reason that they haven't been able to get Verhoff in there is like there's too much of the same thing.
Yeah.
So we talked about last year not having enough puck movers.
Yeah.
Now they have too many.
Yeah.
And that's I think they have the right collection of D here. I don't think there are other guys that I would have taken. Like I wouldn't like Jackson Smith, same thing.
No.
Like you wouldn't take those players over what they have. But it's been hard for them to get into the lineup and stay in the lineup. Carl's at one point looked like he might even be top 4, but I think Ethan McKenzie's emergence has kind of changed that dynamic. He's been so good in this tournament. I think he's going to get, where does he go in the draft?
I was going to ask you the same thing because it's like someone asked me, like, is this guy going in the first round as a double Passover? And it's like, I don't think so. I mean, but you never know. Like,
right. There were a couple years ago where Brett Leeson made the team and he still went second round.
Yeah.
So I think that's Ethan McKenzie.
But as you said, like too many puck movers, and he can move the puck. Like he bombs passes. Like there's been a couple times where he snapped a pass and I was like, who was that?
Yeah.
And it was McKenzie.
It was McKenzie. Yeah.
But like on a defensive side, like how you're saying now they have too many puck movers. He's the guy defensively. I feel like
I agree.
like Reed, Aitchison, those guys are primarily more offensive flair. They have some defensive abilities as well, but McKenzie has really been the guy that you can count on every shift of every game, that he's making the right decisions, and he's also moving the needle up front, like moving the puck up north. So it's like he's, of all the draft eligibles, I know he's 19, he might be the most impressive guy here.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the thing is when you've got a guy who was injured over his years, there's a reason he didn't go. You're always like, well, there's a reason they didn't get drafted. Well, he didn't play enough.
Yeah.
And that was the issue, and so for now you're getting to see him healthy, playing at a high level.
He should have got drafted last year.
Well, yeah.
He still should have.
Potentially, but now here he goes, and now he could go higher. It might work out better for him in the end.
Yeah.
But, he is committed to North Dakota as well.
So many.
Look at that. But
whispers of some other guys going there too.
Yeah, exactly. One more draft eligible that I wanted to talk about, Oliver Savanto.
Yeah.
Because Juho Pipparainen hasn't played enough to really assess what he's.
He was decent yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. Because he had to play because Kivi Harju was sick.
Yeah.
So anyway, Pipparainen gets in, but Savanto has played every game, and I like Oliver Savanto a great deal. Big man, hard, heavy.
Stiff.
Can play.
Yeah.
He's got 2 goals in the tournament so far as well.
Yeah, he was player of the game for the Finns there against the Canadians, and basically what you said, like he's very young, but he's built solid.
Yes.
And he handles matchups, and he's taking draws, and he's doing all those things. But some of he scored the goal too, and like he looked, I think he might have had an apple in that one too. But it was like the chirping that I really liked. Like he was, not like it wasn't too much, but like he turned around and was giving it to some of the Canadian D too. And like he was in that game, like he had the swagger.
Yeah.
He had it as like the youngest guy on that team. Like he looked good, man. He looked really good. I like him a lot too. And I had a scout early in the season when I did the consensus ranking, like back in September. I think he had him like 6.
Yeah.
And I was like, Savanto at 6? And now as I keep watching, like I don't have him at 6, but I still think like in a center-like class, it has been growing a little bit. The centers have been coming up a little bit, but I still think he's a very, very interesting option as a guy that you can be like, that's a middle 6 center all day, right?
Here's one for you. Him, like another center on the rise, Caleb Malhotra.
Yeah. It's Savanto for me. I like his game. I like the stiffness of his game.
Heaviness.
I think it's very, very projectable, where Malhotra I don't think is as
hard.
Not nearly as hard, but the translatability of his game from junior, like yes, he's doing well in junior. He's in a good spot to do well. I'm curious to see how he will transition to the pros.
Yeah. Do we still think Lawrence is the number 1 center in the class, or is Savanto challenging that as well?
I still think it's probably Lawrence.
Yeah, I think so
We
too.
need more games out of him.
Yes.
But I still think he has the highest upside offensively.
Yes.
Right? And I think that pays the bills when you're drafting high.
No question. Yeah. So a lot of great draft eligibles here. There are more that we could talk about, but we're not going to because we got to move on. Yeah. But now we've been so positive.
No, okay.
It's time to get a little negative. Yeah. Who have been some of the bigger disappointments for you in this tournament?
I mean, he hasn't disappointed that much, I wouldn't say. But I think we're still waiting on Michael Misa.
I am definitely disappointed.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I think that he hasn't got some bounces. I think he hasn't got some bounces. He hasn't got a ton of minutes. He played 12 minutes against the Finns. Cole Baudouin played 21. So, and he's
was better.
Well, Cole Baudouin is like, if he had feet, he would be like maybe the greatest hockey player of all time.
He's so good.
He's like a physical freak.
I got so much time for that guy. Yeah.
He's going to be an amazing bottom six
amazing player.
Right? Amazing bottom six player. But Meese, like, you know, yes, he's coming off the injury in San Jose. He had a couple games for the Barracuda there to get his feet under him, but it's just off. It's just everything's a little off. The timing's not there. You know, Martone hasn't been electric either.
Right.
And so that hasn't meshed as well as you would have hoped. I thought Tej has been good. Tej might have been the best of all three on that line.
Yeah.
But no, I absolutely think we're still waiting for Michael Meese to arrive, and you know, it'd be a good time to do it in the medal rounds.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
But again, like I want to reiterate, is that guys coming back from the NHL, it's not always easy.
No.
Right? We've seen it time and again where like sometimes they'll put up good points, but it's still like you're still like that wasn't great. Like so Zane's done it.
Yeah.
I thought Brunick's been fine.
Yeah.
Meese has just been maybe just below fine.
Right.
You know? So it's tough out
I mean, like that to me, like that's all like it's tough, right? Like if just because you play in the NHL doesn't mean that you're going to come into this tournament and dominate. And really, traditionally,
they don't.
Yeah. Matthew Poitras a couple years ago was one of Canada's worst forwards.
Yeah,
like
for Cannon.
You know, and hasn't. Yeah, I mean, like there have been guys that have played in the league, and I think it's a really important reminder to fans that because a guy makes the NHL roster, it doesn't mean he's the best prospect it doesn't mean that he was drafted in the wrong spot. It doesn't mean, you know, like none of that. All it means is that he did enough at the time. The team had a spot.
That's a key.
Right? It's all situational.
Yeah.
The team had a spot, and you know, like I mean, like that's what we're seeing. So that's on, you know, Canada. I think there are a couple of other guys that, you know, like I haven't loved Brunick here.
Okay.
You know, like he's been fine.
Yeah.
But one assist.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not being like that really defensive presence. And I know that's not even like his game. He's a two-way guy.
Yes.
But I expected coming out of the NHL where he had looked pretty good defensively.
Yes.
That he might be able to be like that really shut down player for the Canadians.
To give him big minutes and I haven't seen that.
What about Higgins?
He's been up and down. Like it's just been inconsistent. And I think USA has never found the right forward mix. They did put Stiga and Ziemer with Higgins for a little bit, and that was going. But then Max Planck goes down. Stiga has to move off that line. They go up to Horkoff. That hasn't really clicked. So we've seen moments where James Higgins steps up and brings it, but like Sweden, not really a factor at all, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so that's been disappointing. A number of the returning players have been disappointing here for USA, and I think unfortunately, and I hate to single people out, but this has been a really bad tournament for Logan Hensler. He's been primarily on Team USA's third pairing.
Yeah.
He's playing in his home state.
Yeah.
He's, you know, there's a lot of pressure, I'm sure. Had the goal go off his skate against Sweden after USA plays their best period, and then, you know, that's a bad bounce. I'm not going to blame him for that.
Yeah.
But against Germany, he was on the ice for all 3 goals against.
Oh, he was
brutal. And it was really. That's a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
That's a guy in his second year of college hockey. That's his guy in his second. You need so much more from him, and that has been not evident. So tough one there for Logan Hensler for sure.
And let's keep piling on USA here. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's been mostly them.
Will Horkoff? Where's the goals? Like he
got one.
A puck wouldn't. All the pucks go in when he's at Michigan, and where's that? Here?
And they did in pre-tournament too.
Yeah, right.
And then now nothing. He had one goal and. And really just hasn't been as much of a factor at the net front on the power play. Like it's just there's a lot.
Can I throw another one?
Yeah, please keep it coming.
Lee.
Yeah.
I thought Riker. I had really high expectations. I really loved the player. I thought he looked good in pre-tournament.
He got moved to 13th forward in the first game.
Yeah.
And that was it was bad. He did play better against Slovakia, and I thought against Sweden he was pretty good.
Yeah.
But the first couple games, it was like, that's trouble, because you lose Trevor Connolly before the tournament.
And I expected him to rise up.
And then they're like, all right, well, that gives him, you know,
LJ really.
LJ, and like LJ has been okay, like you know, like.
You can't.
If you want to throw on all disappointing team, you're going to have to put a lot of U.S. players on it. You know, so that's one of them. What about anybody for Sweden that you haven't liked a lot?
So. I love these boys, though. I love them, but I think Frundell can be better. I think he's been, you know, early on in the tournament he was good, and now it's just I just expect him to dominate because
Right.
he's so physically gifted.
Right.
I don't know why they're not playing him in the middle of the ice.
Right.
Why aren't you playing him in the middle of the ice? He doesn't play now. He's not playing internationally. He doesn't play it for Djurgården either. It's like, is Chicago going to be happy about this? They're like, we're supposed to be developing this center, and he's never playing center.
Yeah, I like him in the middle, too.
I like him in the middle, and I think that he's a matchup nightmare. But so he's been fine. I think Eklund is also, the
pretty
points
quiet.
aren't there.
Pretty quiet.
He's a mucker though, right?
He is.
He gets in there and he does muck it up, and so that is more his game rather than putting up points. But I think he was nearly a point a game in last year's tournament.
Yep.
And as a third liner, now
He
he's
was.
a first liner, first PP, and it's not generating. He needs both those guys, I think, but Eklund especially. You need to get him going. He only has one goal in the SHL this year too.
Right.
So he's had a tough run.
Right.
Offensively this season.
Absolutely, and. Yeah, I have to agree too. I mean, and I think you need those guys to be there, and then when you're getting Jack Berglund's their leading scorer right now, and I love Jack Berglund, and I think Jack Berglund is a reason that Sweden still has a chance to win this whole thing. Players like him, they do have dogs on that roster.
Eddie Gimberg too, right?
Yeah, Genberg's been awesome. Yeah. But it's been good. But yeah, man, the crowd is getting electric in here.
Dude.
Look, I mean,
8 rows deep.
We can't pan to see the sold out crowd that's here to talk to us. But one thing, so we're gonna revisit our predictions, which, as we already said, aged like milk.
Yeah.
But we are also gonna talk. We're gonna reset our medal predictions as well at this stage.
Okay.
Some of our medal predictions could be out by today.
No, I'm not.
I hope not.
They might be though.
But before we do that. If you guys haven't been down to the Bull North Breakaway yet, there is so much to do here. It's really a lot of fun. There's floor hockey. There is a great Hall of Fame display. They got a Phil Kessel jersey over there, and I got my picture taken with it because I'm a big Phil Kessel guy.
Who isn't?
But they got a lot of stuff that is Minnesota related. They got some of the trophies, like the Rocket Richard is over there. You can jump out of a building here if you want to at the Waggle booth.
Yeah.
They got DJs. They got accuracy shooting. So if you've been
Super
hearing
Duper?
that knocking, They got Chell going on over here. There's so much happening. So if you haven't been over here yet, it's free. You don't even need a ticket to the game to come over here. So you might as well just come hang out. Great spot. We're really appreciative of them to let us set up. Make sure you get over to the FloHockey booth because you will be able to get your hockey flow over here. Great Clips is going to be over here helping us get you your hockey flow. You get a mullet.
Yeah.
You get the Zach Parisi business casual if you need to. Oh, yeah, we got feet. You want a little shaggy do like Trevor Zegras? We can hook you up with that.
Oh, baby.
So we're going to have the Great Clips over here. It's going to be unbelievable. We're going to have a great time. And you can watch FloHockey 24/7. We got Windsor Flint on right now from earlier this week. So a lot of good things happening here at the FloHockey booth. And now the people are coming. They're coming over.
They're coming.
They're ready to go. So for this part, you guys will hear, if you're listening to us on audio, you're going to hear a little tiny audio change because we're going to go and we're going to make sure that the people over here can also hear us with our predictions. All right. Okay. So, Cam.
Yes.
How is it? Liz, all right. Liz is saying that we're fine on audio.
Beautiful.
All right. So here's our predictions. So our predictions coming into the tournament for the Directorate Award, we're going to start with defensemen.
Okay.
Both of our defensemen got injured.
Yeah. yeah.
You picked Radim Murtka. I picked Cole Hudson. So Cam, who is your Directorate Award winner for defense at the World Junior Championship?
I chose the wrong Czech defender, right?
Right.
And maybe even twice over because Thomas Galvis has a ton of points too. He's got 7, I think.
Yeah.
Right? So unfortunately, Murtka with the injury, I'm just going to I'm going to give myself a pass on that.
Mulligan.
Yeah, I'm a mulligan of sorts. I think it's Zane Pratt. I think it's Zane, with Hudson being out as well. Jurasek has been very good, but Zane's got the points. He's got the flash. I think he's going to have a nice shiny medal at the end of this too. Probably a bright one. I'm going with Zane. I'm going with Zane on it.
I like that pick. I'm going to go with Adam Juracek. Adam, to me, I think the expectations for Czechia dramatically have changed in this tournament with how they played against Canada. They are, to me, one of the best teams here. They might be the number 2 team if we're looking in like a power ranking situation. And that's what we're talking about. So I think that is going to be fascinating to see. So I'm going to go with Juracek because I think the points, the defending, the minutes that he has played, what he has meant to that team, how well they have played. Now, if they get bounced in the quarterfinals, then it's not him.
Yeah.
But that's it. So
they're not getting bounced in the
They're
quarters.
not getting bounced in the corners. All right. So now for the Called Up Prospects podcast, I'm popping my peas right now in my microphone.
You gotta pop that pea.
Now we go to, actually, I was gonna say forward. Let's go to goalie because we both picked Carter George, and that is definitely not happening. Definitely not happening. The save percentage is south of 850. It's 844. Thank you to Liz Child for our stat check over there. 844. So it will not be Carter George, who may not even start for Canada in their quarterfinal. Probably not starting for Canada in their quarterfinal. So Cam, who do we go with now?
I mean, so if Ivan Kovic comes in now, because he played against Latvia and what, he put up like a 960 or something, right? Like it was a 1 goal against. If he now runs the table all the way to the goal and he puts up a 930, 940, 950, I think Ivan Kovic can get it. But at this point, is it Luve? Is it Hammerstrom? Right? Like, it's a tough one.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's Luve.
It is Luve?
It's Luve.
Yeah.
I think it's Luve because even Petteri Rimpinen has had an 850. He's south of 850 right now. So that's where we're at. But yeah, it's going to be a real.
Maybe Brady Nolan? What's his save percentage?
8
7
something.
7
yeah,
something?
It's not good.
Yeah.
Poor kid. That's a tough spot.
It was a very tough spot. Yeah.
Tough spots coming, but here's what we got. So Luve Herenstam for me is the guy. He's been Sweden. They've only played him in. He's played every game but one. Solid save percentage. Worst game was against USA, and really that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned about that. So, all right. So that's easy. So we're again both on the same guy.
Okay.
What happens though if Nick Kempf comes in and runs the table too for USA?
Yeah.
We didn't even mention that, but I do think it's Luve. Just games played matters, and he's played more. All right, forward to the tournament. This is a toss-up right now. I think I know who I have, but I'll let you go first.
I think it's wide open. Like, I think it is going to be decided in the next 4 days. Like that right now, if I'm voting on it today, I'm giving it to Michael Hage. But like everything, big goals down the stretch are going to play a huge role here. So, I picked Porter Martone, who has, I think he has 4 points in 4 games, which isn't great. But if he goes out and has a big medal round, I think he can still take it. I think that Gav could still take it if he puts up a bunch of points too, because he's right there with 8. I think Brady Martin with the goals that he's scored too. I mean, if Slovakia did something crazy, could go get in there too, right?
Yeah.
Like he's on pace, but I think it's Michael Hage at this moment. But like I said, I think it's wide open.
Yeah, wide open indeed. Hage would be my pick as well. I think that of all the players, he's been the most consistent.
Yeah.
He has been the most threatening. He has done it in a variety of different ways. And honestly, he was even a little bit snake. Like there are a couple of times where he hit posts, got stopped, a little snake bit at times, and still produces.
Yeah.
If you are leading the top line on what could be the best team in the tournament, you're going to get that award. And I think that's what we're going to see with Michael Hage. But to your point, Taranko for a long period of time has been there. We didn't even talk about Will Zellers. It's been all about the goals with Will Zellers.
It's been great.
Five goals in every single game for Team USA. Lots of options available, but that is where we're at. All right, we're getting to the end stage of the tournament, and I can tell you for sure my podium has changed. I don't know if yours has, but to refresh the people's memory, what your podium was, and then let's go and give us your new podium.
Okay, I feel really good about how it started. I had the Czechs knocking off the Swedes in the semis, and I'm sticking with it. So I'm going Canada gold. I'm sticking with the Czechs for silver. Okay, but I'm gonna flip my bronze. Okay, I had the U.S. beating the Swedes. I'm giving it to the Swedes now. I think Sweden's gonna be able to get it done, mostly because, and I hope this doesn't happen because the fans will stop coming. Finland could bounce the Americans here in a hot minute. And that that would be no good for this tournament. You lose the host in the quarters, that's never good for business, especially when it's outside of Canada. So I hope it doesn't happen, but the Americans have scared me, they've concerned me. Obviously, Cole Hudson coming back is massive, but I'm gonna bounce him off the third place podium there.
Wow, yeah, that's a tough one. Well, my podium is shifted as well. I had Canada, Sweden, USA, and I'm going a little different. So for bronze, we'll start with bronze. I've got Czechia over the US.
Okay.
Czechia over the US in the bronze medal game. All right, so I do have the US advancing past Finland.
You do.
But losing the semis. And then for my gold medal game, you ready?
You're doing it.
Are you ready?
He's doing it.
I'm doing it. Sweden defeats Canada in a tight gold medal game, breaks the curse. I don't know, there's something about this Swedish team, seeing the way that they played against the US, and it wasn't like they played a great game. They just capitalized on like every mistake. And they have and they
Snipe.
I mean, Lucas Pettersson is
He's
feeling it right now.
Yeah.
Closing up the years. But so that's what I got. I got Sweden winning the gold, and it would be their first since 2012. And they've only won 2 ever at this tournament.
Right?
It seems
In
crazy.
50 years.
2 in 50 years.
Woo.
This is not their best roster in terms of years that they could have won it. You think back to 2018 with Dahlin. You think back to 2 years ago in Gothenburg. All incredible. But now, it's now or never. I really feel like it's now. If it doesn't happen this year, when's it going to happen next? Maybe next year.
Yeah. when Vigo and Ivar come back, and because that's the cool thing too, right? It's like Vigo had 2 more years here.
Yeah.
Right? What's he going to look like when he's 19 at this event? Like he's going to be a horse for them. But I just have such a hard time picking them because they just once the medal rounds come around, traditionally they wilt, right? So I think that they're fortunate that they're not playing the Finns, because they are their nemesis in quarterfinal action and semifinal action. So they also have a nice draw, right? We're setting ourselves up for a U.S.-Canada in the semis there if the Americans can get through, and then they get the Czechs. The Czechs are not an easy out, man. Not an easy out. I think very reasonable, like that could absolutely happen. But I will say, when no one can hang with the Canadian forwards. Nobody can hang. When they're, like, even if they play porous defensively, even if it's Carter, George, and Ned, or Ivan Kovic, and they're not at the top of their game, if those guys are running, I don't think anyone can beat them. I think that they can win the gold medal game 8-6, and it wouldn't matter, right?
And that's what the Czech game.
Yeah.
That is what that showed us. Is that was a game where they won on talent.
Yeah.
They won on talent. That's all it was. It was not a good game, but they were better.
Same with the Finnish game.
Yeah.
Right?
Finland
Again, too, right? Mix
yeah.
in a save, boys.
Mix in a save.
Yeah.
Mix in a save.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn up. So our crowd is starting to get ready for their haircuts here.
Okay.
We're going to have haircuts coming up here at the Flow booth. So get your hockey flow over here real soon. But as far as our podcast goes, and I'll turn this off now so we can talk freely amongst ourselves.
All right.
All right. We're about to wrap up.
Okay. I'm excited.
What is like the defining, what do you think the defining moment of this tournament is going to be? Now, you say Canada's going to win gold.
Yeah.
What has to happen for that to happen?
They need their guys. They need in depth throughout the lineup. Like, their fourth line hasn't been able to do much. They're not seeing much time. But, like, that third line, like Cole Baudouin, like, he's putting up goals, too. Like, that's big for them. They're playing him a ton. But that top six, if the top six is producing, and I think that you look at that first line, and they haven't been great yet. Martone's been hilarious, hey? Stealing the glove, dipping it into the bench, hilarious, right? Like, and I know some people are like, oh, that's your captain, you shouldn't be mucking around like that, but like, I love it. He's so great. If those guys start to wheel too, and you have that second line going, I just think that that's all they need.
Yeah.
I think their defense is good enough. They have a decent blend, but they don't need to be perfect. Their goaltending doesn't need to be perfect. They just need to continue to capitalize. And when you have a Zane Parekh on the back end like that who can do it, when you have, a Michael Hage rolling like he is, Brady Martin rolling like he is, T.J. Ginla's looking great too. I think all they just need to do is play it like the level they've played at already, and they'll win gold. If it amplifies even up front, it'll be easy.
And for me, if Sweden is going to win, it's going to be capitalizing on mistakes, making sure that the power play is cooking, because you'll get your chances. Not a ton, but when you get them, you take them.
Yeah.
They have the physicality to match Canada. In a year, they have never had that, really.
Yeah.
They have Genborg, they have Berglund, they have Gastrin. They have, like, even Vigo is not going to back down.
No.
You've got Frundell, you've got Eklund, guys that are dogs on pucks.
Yeah.
That is going to be a team that is very, very, very difficult to play against.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fantastic game. I can't wait to see how this plays out. Anything is possible this year in the World Juniors, which makes it fun. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
And you know what else is possible?
We're in Minnesota too.
It's the place where miracles happen. Gordon Bombay once led District 5 to a state championship in Pee Wee's here. If he can do that, anything is possible. So make sure you are staying tuned. We're going to have lots of great coverage. I know Elite Prospects is going to have fantastic coverage. FloHockey will continue our fantastic coverage. And make sure you get over here to the Bold North Breakaway Challenge, where it's been a blast so far. Cam, can't wait, buddy. It's a Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, you too, pal.
Hey, let's have a few more great days here at the World Juniors. And, of course, we'll be back next week to recap this whole tournament and give our closing thoughts and see how those new predictions did, since the first ones didn't go so well. So
They'll be perfect now.
yeah, they'll be perfect.
Mine will be anyway.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Called Up the Prospects podcast. I'm Chris Peters for Cam Robinson. We'll see you next time.